Hi. So I know there's a lot of war speculation and all this hubbub happening out there in the east, in the middle, east middle. Can't say the full word. You know what I mean. It just seems odd that it happens almost a year from the elections. Almost as we were in the height of the Ukrainian war, this happens. Odd how they found underground tunnels that Mossad didn't really know about. And now that they know about it, they don't know what to do about it. We're 300 miles of tunnel, too, by the way. Flooded out, bombing out. I mean, they're wiping out, that region anyway right now, so what will be the difference right now? I don't know. Really. What am I supposed to say or do? But there's lots of things to really get into. The time is really short. I'm fear porning. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying you feel it in the air. Something is coming. I don't know what's gonna come. Honest goodness, I do not know. But whatever it is not good, and it is really, really odd that 5 years ago there was a purge on YouTube. If you were here for that, about not just say specific people were not able to talk on the platform, and we fast forward now, and those people are all but gone, and the one that remains are not considered trusted news sources. Now, what's considered a trusted news source? One that another news source said that the crab will say, only believe us. But why should I believe you? We have sources, but those sources could be false. Because I could make a source right now and say, milk is super unhealthy for you and it can give you cancer. And I could write a whole article and then source that article and say, hey, I have a source. John Doe wrote it. That not only was just me, but most people don't even research the sources. They're just like, oh, they look at the bottom where the sources are linked. They're like, okay, your sources here. I guess this is correct. Weird. In the fog of war. Weird. And I don't know, Buster Brown. What else is there to do? I mean, you can't fight them. You can't stop them, really. And the bloodlines, that's the real knocker. I'm just ranting. And it's just, why? It's just a weird thing, right? Like, we have the DuPonts, we have the Kennedys, we have the Lees, we have all these bloodlines. And we act like they just disappeared and just farted off into the wind, never to be seen from again. But we all know people love power, and people with absolute power is not going to give it up. Absolutely not, ever. They're treating it, but for some reason, at least us in the West, think that we have democracy now. What happened to them? I know the crest rolled, we are independent, yeah. The Queen of England, well, when she was alive, just had, pseudo power in England and the UK. Prime Minister had the real power, but was that true? I mean, where was it truly where it was saying the power stopped having power? It's just odd to me. It's odd. It's odd that even in our fight for independence, England, right? Now, even if we had help from the French, right? We had help from the French. I messed that up for a sec. We had help from the French, but I mean, we don't understand. England also had allies. It's not like, because our frame is, well, England didn't really have any allies. They did. They had tons of allies. And I'm looking, it's just odd that they just said, you know what? Keep it, peasants. You could keep this land as far superior than our land. Just keep it. You want it. Fair and square these. Now, if I was a powerful country, let's say I lost a battle, right? I would not lose the war. I would not lose the war. I'm just like, oh yeah, go on, fly off. We have too much land. Now, when has that been indicated any time in human history when it comes to rulers, monarchies? My guesstimation, never. The only time they will give up power if it's, starts to consume them, where their whole power system collapses on itself. And it's just odd that we have bases all around America, the city size, in the West, in the Ozarks, Colorado, by Denver, city size, all connected by tunnels. It's odd, isn't it? It's odd that if we were at war with China, a pseudo war, right, let's just say, in Russia, why are we all in the UN then? To chill with them, having lunch at a UN summit with these world leaders. Why? Because that would be odd, wouldn't it? For these countries to just be there. And every year we just say, oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just a really odd thing, isn't it? Very odd. Now, I am a skeptic, I listen to most of the news, right? But it's odd, isn't it? It's odd that the inflation is shooting up astronomically, but it's not really affecting the rich or people with power. You say, well, that's just the power play, but it's just odd. I know I keep saying odd, it's because it's puzzling. We have all these rivals, like countries I'm talking about. And yet, at the same time, our country still trades with them, cordial with them. If we were really enemies, we wouldn't be trading, we wouldn't be talking, we wouldn't be none of that. There's no fear for nuclear war. Is it though? Like, this is... It's not valid enough for me, right? It's very weird that somehow all of this is just playing out back and forth, and we're keep doing it every time, and we're not doing nothing. Let's go back to the bloodline thing, right? The Rothschilds. Why is that crazy to believe that there is a very powerful bloodline family? I mean, it was the case for thousands of years, up until the recent last 100 years, last 100, 200 years, right? We somehow became intellectually higher than bloodline, than traditions in that short time span. And no causality, nothing with those families saying, you know what, let me absolve my power. Maybe you say, well, we're not saying that they're not powerful or dominant, but hold on. But I have sneeze. But we just need to absolve it because these bloodlines, these families are not fake. You can look them up right now. The problem is that they change their last name all the time, so it's always hard to figure out if those Kennedys that you found, like, let's say on Ancestry.com, are the same Kennedys that are actually a true bloodline of the elites. Yeah, I don't mean, your million, the rich dude down the road who owns like a burger chain in your local town here. I'm talking about people who have power beyond borders, who usurp kings and queens, well, now presidents and prime ministers. They're above them, above the military. Why is that odd to believe that? I mean, that has been the case for thousands of years. And it's just odd to me that it's just kind of like in high school. We talked about kings and queens, and they just kind of like got phased out. Like, oh, now we have presidents, now we have prime ministers. There was never really like a phase where we completely took down all these kings and queens. Like, we don't talk about, where they fell, what year, for all of these, because we stay in, like, maybe France, England, but even those regions we talk about, at least in the West, right? At least the school I went to, we never talk about how the bloodline ended. Because they just fade off, and then, a few hundred years later, we have president. A few hundred years later, we have prime minister. Like, it's weird, right? Because, okay, medieval times, right? Medieval times. What's that? Oh yeah, King and Queens, right? I know I keep rehashing this, and you're probably like, oh, this is also been. I know I'm rehashing it. I really wanted to sink in. In the Middle Ages, we had kings and queens, right? And then from there, we have monarchy, still king and queens. And then the kings, have aristocrats. Then around the 1700s, some countries, were making a singular person that was voted in instead of just inheriting a whole country. But there was never explicit transition. I know for many things, it's just something like let's say the buggy to the car. It was just kind of like not saying that every person in that time had a car, but it was pretty much seamless, right? The invention of Ford Motors. Well, the most affordable car was Ford. And but there was an origin point. That's my thing. There was an origin point before these power. Because this is the thing that just blows my mind, right? Like, it's there's no origin point for when they ended. We just hear about the king conceded to America. We won. French helped. Roll the story type of thing. Roll the credits, I mean. But it's just such an odd thing that there is no end to it. And when people bring up saying, hey, I think these bloodlines, these kings and queens are still in control, people say that's not accurate. How can that be? We're president and prime ministers. There are these wars that may happen recently right now between two countries, that are just odd. I feel like something afoot. But anyway, that's end of my rant. I'll be trying to make daily videos, much as I can. Subscribe, write down in the comments, if you liked what my rant was. Maybe you have some points or critique me, because It was just random. Maybe I'm wrong about some of my points I've been just thinking about like these days. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do like more daily stuff like this. This is my active vlog, and uh hit the bell for notification, and see ya.